So the Indiana Fever did report tonight that Sophie Cunningham will be out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury.
I didn't come here for the spotlight. I didn't come here to have more eyes. I came here to...
This was not anticipated. We all believed Sophie Cunningham's season was finished a few weeks ago. An MCL tear in her right knee. Surgery to end the season is planned. Without one of their most tenacious commanders, it seemed like the Fever would have to continue. However, Sophie unexpectedly revealed the information herself. She hopes to make a comeback for the WNBA Finals. That makes all the difference. Consider what that implies. When the club most needs her, a seasoned starter, a tested defender, and a spark plug returns. It might skew the playoff picture as a whole. We'll go over everything Sophie said in this video, including why her return would be feasible, how it might impact Caitlin Clark's timeline, and what it means for the Indiana Fever's prospects of winning the championship. According to Sophie Cunningham's official statement, she hopes to make it back to the finals. This does not originate from a leaked source or a reporter's rumor. On her own podcast, Sophie herself stated it directly. The announcement is powerful just for that reason. The league as a whole believed she was done for the year until a few weeks ago. The Fever had previously lost important players, including Caitlin Clark for a time, Aari McDonald, and Sydney Carlson. Their ambitions of making the playoffs seemed to be dashed when Sophie passed away. However, her remarks have now altered the subject. Fans are asking, could Sophie's return push them over the top if they make the finals? As opposed to, how will the Fever survive? A flame was also ignited in the locker room by her declaration. You can tell that it provided the team a much-needed boost in confidence. There is no better time than now. Momentum is key in the playoffs, and the prospect of regaining Sophie might help the Fever push through the semifinals. Sophie spoke calmly, yet resolutely on her podcast. She acknowledged that she feared the worst when the incident occurred. However, following surgery and a few rigorous weeks of rehabilitation, she started to think she could make it back to finals. "I'll be back when it matters most," she declared. Both teammates and fans remembered that line. Being healthy enough to play wasn't the only consideration. It has to do with attending the year's most important games. She talked about her rehabilitation regimen, which included hours of therapy, strengthening exercises, and progress-tracking video conversations with her surgeon. The tone was realistic yet upbeat. She is aware that there is no quick fix for getting better. Crucially, she reported that the swelling had decreased and the knee felt stable. For athletes recovering from an MCL tear, that is a serious indication. It was a relief to hear Sophie speak for herself. It changed the focus of the story from speculation to hope. And that message is important for a club vying for a deep playoff run. An MCL tear sounds frightening. It's not as bad as an ACL tear, though, in the realm of basketball injuries. Along the inside of the knee is the medial collateral ligament, or MCL. For lateral movement, the type of side-to-side mobility that defenders depend on, it is essential. However, with surgery and targeted rehabilitation, it frequently heals successfully, unlike the ACL. Athletes typically need 3 to 5 months to recuperate. If there are no issues, some athletes return in as little as 12 to 14 weeks. Although aggressive, Sophie's 4-month time frame from surgery to finals is realistic. Regaining complete lateral quickness and knee confidence is the most difficult task. This is particularly true for someone like Sophie, whose strategy is based on aggressive cuts, defense, and hustle. Experts in medicine frequently state that physical recovery occurs first. Just as crucial is the psychological challenge of regaining faith in the knee. Sophie may be prepared to play a small but significant number of minutes in the finals if she maintains her current rehab rate and avoids setbacks. Her announcement shouldn't be written off as wishful thinking because of this. In actuality, it is accessible. The Fever have fought through a terrible injury season. One of their most adaptable wings was lost when Sophie passed away in the middle of the year. A player that sets the tone for the team by defending several spots, making timely threes, and bringing toughness. The Fever's rotations weakened in her absence. Bigger roles were imposed on younger players. Sophie gives both ends of the floor a spark of vitality that the team frequently lacked. Now, the mere prospect of her coming back has energized the group. Kelsey Mitchell and other veterans have discussed how Sophie's presence in the locker room keeps everyone confined. From a basketball perspective, the Fever can stretch defenses once more and free up Aaliyah Boston in the paint by inserting Sophie back into the lineup. Every championship run requires nuance. Sophie's comeback might provide the Fever with just enough steadiness and experience to make their arrival at the finals more than a pleasant surprise. They might become legitimate contenders as a result. Although Sophie's return is very significant, it also prompts another query right away. How is Caitlin Clark doing? Clark has been recovering from her own injuries, but there is no set time frame for her comeback. The Fever have exercised caution so as not to jeopardize the long-term health of their franchise guard. The team's approach to Clark's schedule may change if Sophie is prepared for the finals. Although it's a difficult decision, the thought of both returning to the largest platform is alluring. If Clark is pushed to return too quickly, he could get hurt again. However, a finals lineup that includes Boston, Mitchell, and both Clark and Cunningham might drastically alter the game versus any opponent. Medical personnel and coaches will need to carefully consider those hazards. Meanwhile, supporters can't help but hope that the Fever's main players will be fit and ready to contend for a title. Clark's is not assured by Sophie's reappearance, but it does make the discussion much more engaging. The way Sophie's comeback plan emphasizes the distinctions between the WNBA and NBA in terms of star player management is an intriguing aspect of it. If the organization doesn't think they can win at all, they frequently cut a franchise player who sustains a knee injury late in the season. The long-term investment is the top priority. The WNBA's postseason windows are narrower, the season is shorter, and teams frequently feel pressure to get their best players back as quickly as possible. That attitude is demonstrated by Sophie's resolve to go back. She is not being treated like a delicate asset by her team. If she is prepared in time, they plan to use her as a weapon. This strategy has generated discussion among analysts. Is the risk worthwhile? Is straining the boundaries justified by the infrequent opportunity to win a title, or may returning too soon jeopardize her next season? The answer appears to be straightforward for the Fever. She will play if the doctors give her the all-clear, and she feels prepared. That is a really WNBA approach to this kind of circumstance. Fans think Sophie can make this comeback in part because of the team's tenacity. The Fever have persevered throughout the season in spite of setbacks and injuries. Head coach Stephanie White has frequently commended the team's spirit and tenacity, even sobbing in the locker room following significant victories. That spirit is embodied by Sophie. Younger athletes have always looked up to her for her leadership and toughness. She is more than just another player on the stat sheet because of her desire to put in the extra effort and her voice during huddles. It would be like adding an emotional motor to the team at the ideal moment if she made a comeback in the finals. She contributes more than simply points and rebounds. It's the mindset she brings to each possession. Intangibles are often the key to a deep playoff run. In a high-pressure series, Sophie's presence might be more crucial than any statistic if it helps the Fever focus and have more energy. Sophie's skill set not only boosts morale but also clearly meets a basketball need. In the finals, her ability to transition onto guards or forwards as a tough wing defender is essential when facing top perimeter scorers. Her three-point shooting extends the floor offensively, providing Aaliyah Boston with more space to work. The squad is energized by her eagerness to take initiative and her cuts to the hoop, which keep defenses honest. The Fever's rotation appears deeper and more well-rounded with Sophie in the mix. Players like Odyssey Sims won't have to shoulder as much of the strain, and Lexi Hall can move into her more comfortable bench role. With Sophie's experience and spacing on the wing, the coaching staff can also run more of their favorite sets. Small changes frequently determine the outcome of championship series. By stabilizing their defense and providing them with another consistent scoring threat, Sophie's presence might swing those margins in the Fever's favor. This season has been an emotional roller coaster for fans. From joy at the Fever's impressive start to annoyance, with injuries to rekindled optimism following Sophie's declaration. This return feels particularly noteworthy to a fan base that has supported the team through its highs and lows. It represents persevering in the face of hardship. You can sense the excitement generating discussions among past players, in stadia, and on talk shows. Many think Sophie's comeback might be the spark that lifts the WNBA Finals to a new level of intensity. The human side is another. It would be motivating to see her back in uniform since her teammates adore her tenacity and energy. Picture the situation. Sophie entering the court during a Finals game's warm-ups. People would burst out. That energy would be felt by the Fever. It would also be felt by the opposition. Fans sense that this might be one of those moments which have the power to change the tone of a series. The Fever's and the WNBA postseason's prospects have shifted as a result of Sophie Cunningham's audacious declaration that she intends to return for the finals. Nothing is guaranteed by it. She still needs to continue her rehabilitation. The Fever and their followers now have something to rally around, even if they still need to advance past the semifinals, and the medical staff will have the last word. It adds another level of drama to the league's most crucial matches. The important questions are now obvious. Will Sophie's knee withstand the rigors of the playoffs? Will she have a chance to return if the Fever make it to the finals without her? Can she change the course of the series to their advantage if she returns? Even at 80 or 90%, Sophie Cunningham returning to the finals may have a significant impact. We will be keeping a careful eye on it whether it occurs or not. And if it happens, we may see one of the WNBA's most iconic comebacks in history.